Okay, just waiting to be sure that we have started. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our focus this afternoon for levels 8 to 10. Our focus this afternoon is called childhood. My name is Melissa. I'm from Australia and I'm a teacher down at Myers in Napoli. Please feel free to introduce yourself. Okay, I'm just going to reintroduce because I think it might have just started. But just to remind you, I am Melissa from Australia and I'm a teacher down at Myers in Napoli. Please introduce yourselves and say hello, tell me your name and where you are from. Okay. So in this focus activity this afternoon, we are looking at memory and childhood, talking about our childhood, using used to and would for the past, and verbs and phrases for childhood. Okay, great. Some questions to begin. What is your earliest memory? Do you remember much from your childhood? Which sounds or smells remind you of moments from your childhood? And do you ever feel nostalgic about your childhood? So question 1, your earliest memory. I think that's quite a difficult question, actually. I think some of the earliest memories I have, I remember my father used to work away from home for weeks at a time. And I have memories of speaking to him on the phone while he was away working. And I have memories of him returning from work and being very excited to see him. I think those are some of my earliest memories. What about yours? Do you remember much from your childhood? I remember snippets, we say, which is like small scattered parts. I don't have a very good memory in general, so I do remember parts of my childhood, but I couldn't say that I have a very clear memory of everything. Which sounds or smells remind you of moments from your childhood? For me personally, smells are a big thing that remind me of my childhood when I smell certain foods, or even other things, like even just the smell of certain like children's toys or certain washing soaps and things always take me back to different moments in my childhood. What about you? Maybe it's some particular songs or particular like TV intros or advertisement jingles, or maybe it's even seeing certain things that remind you of your childhood. What things are for you that remind you of your childhood? And do you ever feel nostalgic about your childhood? Yes, I think it's something that we all experience, especially when you think about how much the world has changed since we were children. It makes you feel nostalgic, I think, thinking about the way that you might have done things in the past compared to now. and how those things have changed. Okay. When I grow up, what did you want to be when you grew up? For me, that changed a lot. The very first job I remember wanting to have as a child was florist. Okay. I remember when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I really wanted to be a florist. A florist is a person that arranges flowers, and I really, really wanted to be a florist. After that, the next job I can remember wanting was to be a lawyer. Okay, to be a lawyer, someone who studies law and represents people that need legal representation. But I think I was put off by the amount of study that was needed to become a lawyer. And you often hear what a very difficult and demanding job that is. And then finally, as a teenager, I wanted to be a teacher. Yeah, actually, I also remember I wanted to be a wedding planner for a little while, for a short period. I think there was if you've ever seen the Jennifer Lopez film called The Wedding Planner, I think I saw this film and I wanted to be a wedding planner. Ah, Robbie! Hello! Nice to see you. I hope you are very well. What did you want to be when you grew up, Robbie, when you were a little child? Do you remember what you wanted to be? If anyone can remember, I always like to hear the answer to this question from different people. I think it's a very interesting thing to know. Hi, Alessandro. Welcome. Hello. Where are you from, Alessandro? I'm a teacher down in Naples. I'm currently locked down in Sorrento. And what about you? And also, please share what you wanted to be when you grew up, when you were a child. While I am waiting for your answers, from Treviso, lovely to meet you too. You wanted to be a tour guide. Okay, lovely. Fantastic. Thanks, Robbie. And the next one says work in pairs. Well, for us, we will work on our own. And to see if you can guess the top 10 jobs that kids would like to do when they grow up. So in the chat, just put any ideas that you think are the most popular jobs that kids wish for when they grow up. What do you think? And Alessandro told us he wanted to be a chef. And now you're in the tourism in general. Yes, it's a common job, obviously, in Italy. Being from Australia and a particular city called Perth, the tourism industry is it's not a common job or industry that people get into, but it's very, very common here. Thanks, Alessandro. So what do you think in general are some of the most popular jobs that kids want when they grow up? I hear a lot of kids say that they want to be an astronaut. Okay, an astronaut, someone who gets to travel and research in outer space. What else do we hear? Yes, Alessandro, you know, they do. They want to be an astronaut. I think I tend to hear a lot of children say they, well, a lot of boys in particular say they'd like to be a pilot, someone who flies planes, a pilot. In Italy, you might have a lot of children that say they'd like to be a football player. I think it would be great too. I don't think I'm quite adventurous enough for outer space travel, but I think it would be a very, very interesting and great job to have. What else do you think are your ideas before we reveal the answers? I'll just wait. There is a delay with the responses when you send them. I'm very sorry. Not football for you, Alessandro. Don't worry. Not for me either. I tried to play football when I was a little girl. My parents put me in a girls' football team, and I had to stop because every time I accidentally bumped or ran into someone, I kept stopping to say sorry. I didn't quite understand how football worked. So no football for me either. All right, let's have a look at some of the answers. So the 10, the most popular, is a singer or a musician. A writer. I don't think I would have guessed a writer for a job that children would think of or want. An athlete or a sports person in general. Number 7, a doctor. Yes, a doctor. Or I hear a lot of children say also that they would like to be a vet, which is a doctor for animals. I know it's very similar in Italian, the full word, veterinary, but in English, you will hardly ever hear native speakers say the full word, a veterinary nurse. You would just say vet. I am a vet, or I wanted to be a vet. Ah, yes, a ballerina. Of course, I hear this one a lot. A chef. There's yours, Alessandro. Number 5 on the list. A firefighter. Yes, a firefighter, or we also call them a fireman. Okay, a fireman, we can call them a firefighter, which is more gender neutral, or a fireman. Okay. Not for you, Alessandro. Okay. Have you got 2 left feet? This is an expression we say in English, to have 2 left feet. Okay, is what we say to someone if you are a bad dancer. Oh no, I can't dance. I have 2 left feet. Or she is terrible. She has 2 left feet. And it's an expression we use to describe someone who's not very good at dancing. Number 3, astronaut. Okay, there's our guess from before. What do we think the top 2 popular jobs are? An actor. Okay. An actor. And number 1 is a teacher. Yes, I must say, I was a primary school teacher in Australia for children. I taught Italian, and a lot of the children wanted to be a teacher when they grow up. Okay, and Alessandro, you see these are works that. Yes, exactly. Just for your vocabulary there, Alessandro, I would say these are jobs. When we're using it as a noun, okay, we use job, not work. Work is more to refer to the concept or the action in general, and the individual noun is called a job. Okay, so yeah, these are jobs that may make you famous. And yes, you may get some kind of rewards or recognition for your work as a firefighter. Yes, you're welcome, Alessandro. Okay, some childhood phrases. So let's have a look at them. To throw tantrums. To get into trouble, to be a picky eater, to be told off, to share your toys, to look up to, and to make fun of. Okay, we have 3 phrasal verbs there. Two, to look up to and to make fun of. Okay, so the meanings. To be reprimanded by an adult, to cry and roll around on the floor, to ridicule or laugh at someone, to be fussy about food. To be fussy about food means you only want to eat very particular things. You only like a few things. To respect or admire someone. To allow other kids to touch your things or play with your toys. And to suffer punishment for doing wrong, for doing something wrong. Do you want to put down here what do you think some of the definitions are? Can be any of them, doesn't have to be in order. You can put in any ideas or any phrases that you already know. Let's have a look at the first one. Okay, to throw tantrums or to throw a tantrum in the singular is when you see a child crying or rolling around on the floor or even just standing there screaming and crying and not wanting to move. Okay, this is when a child is throwing a tantrum. Okay, so yes, to throw a tantrum. That's okay, Alessandro. Now you know. Okay, yes, Robbie, to throw tantrums is to cry and roll around on the floor. Okay, and I'm the same, Robbie. As a child, I used to be very fussy, and now I eat too many things. Too many things. To get into trouble. Okay, to get into trouble is when you are punished for doing something wrong. Okay, thank you, Robbie. Correct. Yes, okay, you can say, oh, I got into trouble yesterday because I hit my brother or something, okay? That means that you were punished for hitting your brother, for the bad thing that you did, okay? I got into trouble. To get into trouble. And to be a picky eater is to be fussy about food. Okay, so yes, correct, Alessandra, thank you. So using Robbie's example, she can also say, as a child, I used to be a picky eater, but not now, I eat everything. Okay, so fussy is an adjective, a picky eater is the noun. An eater is a person who eats food. Picky is an adjective that is the same as fussy. Okay, a picky eater. You can also say a fussy eater. I used to be a fussy eater. Okay, but not now. And yes, to be told off is to be reprimanded by an adult. Okay, and if you have a look with the verb be here, this is the passive. Okay, to be told off. For example, I was told off by my teacher. Okay, this is the passive. I was told off by my teacher, because the active phrasal verb is to tell off. Okay, so you can also say, my teacher told me off. Okay, I was told off by my teacher is the passive, or the active is my teacher told me off. Okay, told me off. So it's a verb that is separated, told me off. If you use the pronoun, it must go in the middle. Okay. If you use the name of the person, it can go after. My teacher told off Rosa for speaking in class, for example, is okay, but it's better if you separate it. My teacher told me off, or my teacher told Rosa off. Okay, from the phrasal verb to tell off, which is to reprimand a child. Good. To share your toys, okay, is to allow other children to play with your toys, to play together with your things, and this is to share, okay, to share. We often encourage our children to do this. To look up to, okay, is our phrasal verb when we talk about respecting or admiring someone. I often tell students, if this is a difficult phrasal verb for you to remember, literally think of the literal meaning, to look up, okay? And we look up at someone we admire, or someone we respect, like a parent, a grandparent, usually someone older than us. So if you have a bit of difficulty with this one, think of the literal meaning, to look up to someone. Okay, to look up to someone. And this leaves our final phrasal verb for childhood, to make fun of. Excuse me. To make fun of is to ridicule or to laugh at somebody. Okay. As a child, you might have had people go, You wear glasses, or something silly that children say. And this is someone making fun of you, okay, or making fun of somebody. Okay. All right. So using used to and would for the past, okay? Just be careful because it is very close to saying I am used to, which we use with me, okay? I am used to, you can see am is in the present. So it is talking about something that is normal for us now. I am used to getting up at 7 a.m. because I work every day, this kind of thing. Okay, so please be careful. Used to, for the past, we use with no am. Okay, I used to with infinitive. Okay, oops, sorry, my mistake. With infinitive, there we go, that's the correct one. Okay, I used to with infinitive, you can see straight after the subject is a past verb used, so we are talking about the past. So be very conscious of using I am used to for the present or I used to for the past. Okay. Thanks for your question, Robbie. You learnt to pull your leg. It's similar, but not really. To make fun of someone is when you laugh at someone and you ridicule them, and it's not very nice, really. Okay, to make fun of someone. To pull someone's leg is to deliberately tell them a lie. Okay, usually in a quite light-hearted, joking situation, you'll tell someone something that you want them to believe for a moment, and then usually you'll hear the person say, I was just pulling your leg. Okay, which means I wasn't telling you the truth. It was not true. It was just a lie as a joke, and it was not true. Okay, or you can say to someone else, she's just pulling your leg. Don't believe her. Okay, which means she's lying to you. She's not telling you the truth. But it is in a very light-hearted context. It's not a serious, a bad lie or anything like that. Okay, I hope that's clear for you, Robbie. If not, please just tell me. Okay. Yes, so using used to and would. We can use used to in the past to talk about something that was true, but isn't true anymore. For example, I used to be blonde. Now I'm a redhead. We can use used to or would in the past to talk about habitual actions. I used to go to the open air cinema with my boyfriend. We would cuddle and eat popcorn. Would is usually nostalgic. For example, we would walk along the beach at sunset without a care in the world. And they both go with the infinitive. Of course, because would is a modal verb, to is always followed by the infinitive. Yes, so used to and would for habitual actions, and used to for something that was true. The difference here is the way to remember a grammatical difference is a would cannot go with stative verbs. Okay, would. Okay, oops, let me put it in here for you. Would plus stative verbs, okay, is not possible. Okay, stative verbs, for example, are things like be, like, hate, love, want. Okay. Okay. For example, you can say, when I was a child, I used to love watching cartoons. So I used to love cartoons. But you can't say, when I was a child, I would love cartoons, because love is a stative verb. Okay. Talking about jobs, you can say, when I was a child, I used to want to be an astronaut. You can't say, when I was a child, I would want to be an astronaut, because want is a stative verb. Okay. And that's why it says in the second part that would is used about with actions, things that we used to do. Okay. Go, cuddle, walk, eat. Okay. Actions, things that we would do. Stative verbs are more about feelings. Okay. So yes, remember that would with stative verbs, it's not possible. Okay. So, some questions. Create questions for other students using used to or would. Example, did you used to throw tantrums? Or as a child, would you share your toys with other children? Also possible here, as a child, did you used to share your toys with other children? Okay, so this is the difference where sometimes you can use would or used to. Okay, share is not a stative verb, so you can use both. Okay, so those of you who are with us, tell me, as a child, did you used to throw tantrums? I can't remember myself personally. I don't even remember very clearly what my mother said if I used to throw tantrums. I'm sure I was guilty of it at some point. But what about you? Did you used to throw tantrums as a child? And did you used to get into trouble? Did you used to get into trouble? Or we could say, would you often get into trouble? Oops. Get is not a stative verb, so we could use both. Did you used to get into trouble? Or would you often get into trouble? When I was when I was very young in primary school, I didn't used to get into trouble. I was a good student. And then around maybe 11 or 12 years old, when I was 11 or 12 years old, yes, I would often get into trouble for talking in class and not listening to the teacher. Okay, so if you want to talk about why you got into trouble in the past, okay, the preposition is for. To get into trouble for, with in Okay, so I would often get into trouble for talking in class. Okay, for tantrums, I used to throw tantrums and I got into trouble very often because I was a troublemaker. Robbie, you a troublemaker? I don't believe it. Fantastic vocabulary there, Robbie, with the troublemaker. Okay. Okay, a troublemaker, okay, is a child who often behaves badly. Okay, child who often behaves badly. Okay, or who we might describe as a naughty child. Okay, a naughty child. Naughty is an adjective, the opposite of well-behaved. Okay, thank you, Robbie. Okay, so be is a stative verb. So we cannot use would with this one. So the question is, did you used to be a picky eater? Okay. Did you used to be a picky eater? Be is a stative verb, so no would. And sorry, I'm just looking for a great no, I can't find it. A great answer that Robbie gave before. That's okay. So, did you used to be a picky eater? Yes, I used to be a picky eater when I was very young. Also, when I was a teenager, I used to be a picky eater. But once I don't know, was in my late teens. Okay, late teens. I started to love everything. Ah, okay. Nice, Robbie. Okay. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay. Look is possible with would, but it doesn't sound right. Used to is better here. Okay, we could ask, did you used to look up to anyone? Okay. Did you used to look up to anyone? Or we can ask an open question. Who did you used to look up to? Okay. Who did you used to look up to? Sorry. Yeah, used to. And did you used to look up to anyone? Okay. When I was a child, who did I look up to? I often looked up to my teachers. I looked up to my teachers. You can see here in my response, I used past simple. Okay, sometimes referring to the past, it's possible to use past simple because we are talking about something that is finished in the past. Okay. I looked up to my teachers, or I used to look up to my teachers. Okay, fantastic example here, Robbie. Yes, I used to look up to my uncle and my mum. Lovely, lovely. Okay. So, make fun of. Okay. Again, would is possible. Used to, it sounds better. So, we could ask, did you make fun of anyone? Or we could also ask, did anyone make fun of you? Okay, so there are two different questions. Did you make fun of anyone? Or did anyone make fun of you? Okay, so I can say I don't think I made fun of anyone as a child, or I don't think I used to make fun of anyone. But yes, some children used to make fun of me. Especially in high school, I had terrible skin. And you know how horrible children can be. And they used to make fun of me about, or they used to make fun of my skin in high school. What about you? Did anyone make fun of you when you were at school or when you were a child? So again, I've used past simple here, which is possible. But also, did you used to make fun of anyone? Or did anyone used to make fun of you? Actually, I am guilty of the same, Robbie. I always made fun of my brother. Good. Just remember, Robbie, that's an irregular past simple. Make in the past is made. But yes, I am definitely guilty of the same. I always used to make fun of my brother as well. No, this one doesn't work, Robbie. Do you mean the same thing, that you used to make fun of him? If you mean the same thing, another word you can use is I used to tease him. Okay, tease is the verb that is the same as to make fun of. Okay, make fun of is the phrasal verb, and tease is the normal verb. To tease is again when you this is to tease someone. Okay, but to rock someone, no, it doesn't make sense. If you want to tell me the meaning of what you're trying to say, if it's something different from make fun of, maybe I can try to think of the word that you are looking for. Okay. And share your toys. Share is not a stative verb, so we can use both. Did you used to share your toys? Or would you share your toys with other children? Okay. I think if my memory is correct, as a very young girl, I didn't used to like to share. But again, I think that is something that we are all guilty of when we are very little children. And what about you guys? Did you used to share your toys with other children or with your siblings, your brothers or sisters? I think I can remember having some arguments with my brother over sharing video games. I remember we didn't used to like to share our video games. Okay. You meant the same. Yeah, to rock someone is not a way we talk about this action, Robbie. Just to make fun of or to tease. Okay. And what about your toys? Did you used to share your toys, or would you share your toys with others? Okay. To be told off. Okay. Because so here we can also use to get told off. Okay, get is another collocation with this verb, to get told off. So we can say, did you used to get told off? Okay, or if you want to use be, it would be, were you often told off? Okay, often is to make it clear that we are asking if it was something that happened regularly in your childhood. So, did you used to get told off? Or were you often told off? So this is a very similar question to get into trouble. So again, around when I was 11 or 12 years old at school, I used to get told off quite a bit for talking in class and not listening to the teacher when I should have been. And Robbie's answered about sharing. I used to share. So you shared the toys that you didn't like. Very good. It's very clever, Robbie. Very good. Thank you. Okay. So, how I've changed. Talk about how you have changed since you were a child or a teenager. And think about your appearance. For example, I used to have curly hair, and now I have straight hair. Tastes, which means things that you like. I didn't used to eat meat, but now I do. Think about character, your personality, your habits, and your fears, things that you maybe used to be scared of. I used to be shy, but now I'm outgoing, for example. So put some examples in the bottom. Okay. For example, I used to have long hair, but now I have short hair. Okay, something about my appearance that has changed. When I was a child, I used to have long hair, and now I have short hair. Okay, I don't think much else about my appearance has changed. I've always been short, so nothing really else has changed. Tastes. So for food, I used to be a picky eater, but now I eat everything. I used to be a picky eater, but now I eat everything. Okay. Also, my taste in music has changed. I used to like pop music. Now I like alternative music. Okay, I used to like pop music. Now I like alternative music. Okay, or for maybe a new kind of activity that you didn't like before. For example, I didn't used to like reading, but now I do. Okay, if it's something that was not what you did in the past, but now you do, you can use it in the negative. I didn't used to like reading, now I do. Character or habits or fears, mine are all the same, I think. Well, I can say I didn't used to be afraid of flying, but now I am. Okay. So in the past, I didn't used to be afraid of flying, but now I am afraid of flying. Okay. Thanks, Robbie. I didn't used to be shy, but now I am. Remember verb to be, but now I am. I have always been shy. I was shy as a child, and I'm still quite shy as an adult. So I can't use used to because it's not because it's still something true. Okay. And habits. As a child, I used to go to sleep early. Now I go to sleep late. Okay, so a habit that has changed. I used to go to sleep early. Now I go to sleep late. Okay, that brings us to the end of our focus this afternoon for 8 to 10. Thank you, everybody that joined us today. I hope you are keeping well during our lockdown and continue to tune in for our focuses each hour. Take care and goodbye. Bye, Robbie. Take care.